Alright, what is up guys? Welcome to my review of Fallout 4. I don't know if you guys can see what they are. I have the Game of the Year edition. So I do want to specify a few things. One, I just got done with lunch and I had some really spicy foods. So every now and then if you hear me breathe aggressively, that's why. And if I think my eyes are watering because of it, so you have to forgive me on that. And two, I am going a bit off script. I usually use my phone as my script, but since I'm recording on my phone, this will be a bit weird. This will sound a bit awkward, a bit different, and I may forget some stuff. And I'm also out of breath, so sorry. I should have waited, but I wanted to get this out before I forgot. So yeah, I decided to do Fallout 4 because I actually really enjoy the game, and I just got done with some of the DLCs. I will be so I am gonna do this a bit differently. This has 6 DLCs. I'm not gonna be doing the Contraptions, Wasteland, or the Vault-Tec DLC. As you guys can see here, you have I think the Vault-Tec, and I think the Contraptions, and then I think the Wasteland Workshop. I'm not gonna be doing those just because they don't really add much to it. And the Vault-Tec one, here's my review on it. It fucking sucks. I do not like this DLC at all. I'm not a creative person. I don't do vaults. So that's why I'm not doing that. So I will be doing the Automatron, Far Harbor, and Nuka World DLC. I want to get this out after I did Nuka World because, I don't know, that's a major mod. If you ask me, that's a major part of the mod. Oh, it's major to the 5, and of the 3 major ones, the Nuka World is one of them. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to be going over the game, the story itself, all 4 endings, and then I'm going to talk about what I thought about it. Well, I'll also be going over the DLCs, and then I'll be going over companions, and I'll try to keep an unbiased opinion because I'm very biased. And I'm sorry I have this wide angle. I'm fat, so I'm sorry. I don't know how I set it up last time. So let's start with what I think of the game. I think the game is pretty cool. There are some stuff in it I do like better than New Vegas. One, the songs are more memorable. Some of you guys may not know this, or none of you guys may know this because I never talked about this. I am a huge music fan, as you guys can tell. I have a bunch of band shirts. So I am a pretty big music fan. And the songs in there are pretty memorable as opposed to New Vegas, where you have Big Iron or Jingle or Johnny Guitar and all that. But those are the major ones. But with Fallout 4, you have The Wanderer or some of Magnolia or Linda Carter's stuff. So it is actually pretty good. But I do like some of the story in there. This is the part where I can talk about all 4 different endings because I have nowhere what else to talk about. So I'll start with the good people labeled by Oxhorn, which is the Minutemen and Railroad, and then I'll do the evil, which is Brotherhood of Steel and Institute, again labeled by Oxhorn. I would put those in the description down below, but I'm using my phone, and I don't know how to do that on my phone. I'll try my best to though, once I have time. So the Minutemen ending, I kind of like it. Like I said, I'm not a creative person, so settlement building isn't really my thing. But I do have fun with it because I try out some new stuff. And with that, I don't dislike them, but they're maybe in my of my favorite endings. They may be in the top 2. That isn't much because it's the top 4. There are 4. But something about them is really awesome. The thing is your character can say some mean stuff, and they actually say it. So my problem is I can't be mean to people, and that's what I like about the Minutemen as well as the Railroad is I feel uncomfortable being mean to people. So whenever I do something like that, I gotta go with the Minuteman or Railroad on that one. Ending is pretty cool. Preston Garvey is a pretty annoying character. I will admit that. A lot of people are like, oh my god, he's annoying. And I didn't really understand that, but now I do. but that's not my review of Preston yet because there's more to it. Um, so there isn't really much to say about it. I think the castle was pretty annoying because I just want to go relax and do some other quests instead of having to do settlement quests. And I don't know, it's pretty much destroyed, so there's like easy access with enemies, and there is a way to fix it, which I've done. But other than that, Minuteman's pretty fun. Railroad, I actually, but I was thinking it over before I did this. I would like pretend to do a review because I'm fucking stupid, and I would always say the Minuteman was like the best one ever. But then I kept playing the Railroad, and I actually learned I actually really enjoy the Railroad better than the Minutemen because you have someone like Desdemona where she actually knows what she's doing, and people of the Railroad actually know what they're doing. Where you have someone like the Soul Survivor and Preston leading, but they probably have no idea what they're doing, and they're on the verge of loss. Whenever the Minuteman is on the verge of a loss. In fact, Preston's the last of the Minutemen left whenever you first meet him. So, but with the Railroad, they know what they're doing. They know how to do it, and the perfect timings and all that. And it's really fun because instead of doing settlement builds with one person, there's Carrington and Pam give you different or Radiant quests that just keeps going even after you finish Desdemona's stuff after the game, which is to the mattresses and if you do the Randolph safe houses. So there is more stuff to do than just going to a place and sorry, you have to forgive me. I'm thinking that someone's in my apartment. So every now and then if you see me like look over there, just know I'm paranoid as fuck. So every now and then if you see me look over there, just know that's what's up. So yeah, and I do love the ballistic weave that they give you because with something like that, it's pretty useful. But I don't like the fact that it's limited to certain stuff. I think it should have been out there with like every clothing. But I can understand because one of my characters I used, an assassin character, which I use Fudge Muppet builds, but I'm not gonna include those in my reviews. Well, I'm not gonna review those because those don't affect the game in any way. My character uses road leather. Anyway, my character uses road leathers, and I thought it would have been nice to have the road leathers take ballistic weave, but they don't. So, it says I have to like look for like better clothing for my characters because they don't take ballistic weave, which sucks because it ruins the aesthetic of the characters. And since I play on PS4, mods are pretty limited, which it sucks, but it works. It's fine. I managed to make it work. And then so Brotherhood of Steel, evil people. I don't. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. If you guys remember from my New Vegas review, I think I talked about how much I really enjoyed the Brotherhood of Steel in New Vegas, and that is true. But the problem is, they aren't like the ones with Lions or McNamara. I'm not gonna be reviewing Fallout 3, by the way, because that is probably my least favorite game. Because, like I said, in my New Vegas review, I'm a pussy, and my looks in that game fucking suck. Anyway, so, but with the Brotherhood of Steel, this one seems a bit much. It's too much for me. A lot of you may know I like the Legion, and I played the Legion, but with this, they aren't like you need to kill women because women are inferior. They just leave them alone. You know, if they see women out in the street, they aren't gonna kidnap them and keep them hostage. No. If the women gets in the way of the Legion, that's whenever they kidnap them. But with the Brotherhood of Steel, it's more of the case of like, if you see a synth in the street, or Superman, or a ghoul, whether they want to hurt you or not, you kill on sight. And that was the weird part. There will be spoilers. I am going to mention it. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. There are spoilers to this part. So, I don't know when to time it, but you can just skip ahead. Whenever you do Blind Betrayal, it is learned that Dance is a synth. after you infiltrate the Institute and you have a network, you put the scanner into the uh, terminal, and then you scan all of the Institute's networks and everything, list of synths and all that. You learn that dance is one of them. So you have to, instead of having to like make an exception to dance, you hunt him down and you try and kill him, which is what I think is different and why I like the Legion better than the East Coast Brotherhood of Steel under Maxon, is because if someone, even though like Graham betrayed the Legion or like failed the Legion, they didn't hunt him down and killed him after, because they learned after the rumors came up that Graham was still alive. They didn't like hunt him down and kill him, but with they just let it be because Caesar didn't want to know. But with Maxon, whenever he learned that dance was a sin, they fucking hunted you. You have to hunt him down and kill him, which you don't have to. I managed to do it for I did the Brotherhood of Steel ending twice, and in my second one, which is my recent one, I just was able to save him. Mostly because I wanted a different option. I wanted to change it up a bit, you know? So I would say overall, and the only redeeming quality about it is people like Ingram, Halen, Tegan, and the power armor. Other than that, I don't like the East Coast Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4. Now, this does lead to the final one, which is the Institute. I don't really have anything positive to say about them. Well, except for the technology. I don't know if I said this in my last review, but I love the technology in Fallout New Vegas, or in just in the Fallout series. That's why I like the Brotherhood of Steel, is because they have the technology. If fact, whenever I played New Vegas, I always try and go for like a peaceful ending with the Brotherhood of Steel, but you don't get that in Fallout 4 unless you side with Minutemen. Other than that, you don't, or if you side with the Brotherhood because you're siding with them. But those are the only, but the Brotherhood of Steel before the DLC, I learned, I think, was the only group you can side with that you can destroy after. Because you can destroy the Railroad and the Institute by siding with the Brotherhood, and then the Minutemen can destroy the Brotherhood of Steel. So, I don't know, I never tried it. I was going to whenever I did my Nuka World playthrough, but I just never did because reasons I don't want to discuss. It's weird. Too complicated. So, while I will say that the technology that the Institute has is pretty good, other than that, there is like no redeeming qualities about them. I think I think the Institute brainwashed Father to believing that they are the best hope for the future, which means I instantly hate Father, and I don't know if it's weird to say that he deserves to die because he is your son. Spoiler alert. But other than that, there's no redeeming qualities about them. So I'm gonna go over the DLCs. I was gonna do companions, but then DLCs kind of add companions, which is another reason why I'm not doing the Vault-Tec Workshop, because it doesn't add companions, and I want to be able to add more to it. So I'm gonna go off how it shows here. So it's gonna be Automatron, Far Harbor, and then Nuka World. I have a lot to say about these. Automatron, if I had to rank these, I would have to say Automatron is third on the list, because those robots are difficult to almost borderline impossible to kill. They attack settlements, and if you do a Minuteman character, you have to try very hard to kill them, because one time one of the rockets, or the robot, not rockets, one of the robots attacked one of my settlements, and then as I was saving them, I failed the quest because I think one of them died. One of the settlers died, which sucked. So I don't like the Automatron. I do like the idea of creating and remodeling robots, so people like Ada and Codsworth and Curie, but that's only the Miss Annie form, which you only get for like maybe a short period of time. One like one affinity, well not one affinity, but like one affinity chat or approval chat. Um, that's the only time you ever get her as the Miss Nanny. Other than that, she's a Synth the rest of the time. So I would say that it is interesting, but the robots in there are difficult. And the first time I tried the Automatron DLC, the fight with the Mechanist crashed. So like I defeated all the robots, but then she wouldn't talk at all, and it sucked because I think that was like my first ever like proper character. So so I was like level I think 48, and I needed a trophy to get to level 50. So and like I couldn't progress further, so I had to like restart my entire character. So I'm very careful whenever I do Automatron. But other than that, from that point on, I haven't had any problems, and I think the ending is actually pretty good because you can save the Mechanist, and you can also, if you have the Silver Shroud costume, you can also talk with her, with the Mechanist, who's a her, by the way, unlike Fallout 3, where it's a guy, which I find to be weird. And then you guys can have like a conversation and all that, which I think is the most ridiculous thing ever, but it's it's the nuclear fallout. What can you do, right? Um, Next is Far Harbor, probably my favorite DLC ever. What I like about Far Harbor is the fact that there are like different, like more than there's different endings, but it's more than the actual vanilla game itself. Like yes, you have the four different endings, but with Far Harbor, sorry, give me a moment. Ah, sorry. I'm gross. Like I said, I had spicy food. Um, so, but with the Far Harbor DLC, I think you have one, two, three, maybe you have less. No, there's the four, five. Uh, just that's kind of complicated to say the least, but I will say I do like it. Um, I like the fact that you can bring Nick Valentine with you to it, and then there's like a whole different story to it. Um, Other than that, there's and I do like the enemies. The enemies are a bit unique in the sense that there's like giant salamanders and anglerfishes and whatever the fuck fought the fog crawlers. I think it's a shrimp or whatever, or crawfish or crawdads, or I don't know, crawfish. I know them as crawfish. But anyway, sorry I'm so awkward. Like I said, off script. But I can't really say anything bad about it. I really enjoy it. Um, well, okay. I think the only negative thing is the fog, mostly because it's so irradiated, so bad, and there's nothing much you can really do about it unless you have Rad-X. But even then, you still get irradiated. Now, it may not be as much, but you still get irradiated. And then Nuka World. Um, this is kind of like the in-between. Like I mentioned in my New Vegas video, I'm going to be quoting that a lot because that helps. I do like playing, whenever I say I do like playing the Legion, it's because I like being evil. This proves that. It's so much fun to betray. If you side with the Minutemen, it's so much fun to betray them, and you do all this stuff. You can, I think that's the only time I roleplay being an asshole, because they expect it from you. Like you can be mean to like whoever, your companions or random citizens in Diamond City or Good Neighbor, and you could feel bad about it. But in Nuka World, they expect you to be an asshole. They're like, oh, you're gonna enslave the rest of my family? And you're like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, and I do like the weapons. The weapons in the in some of the DLCs. Of all the DLCs, I gotta say Nuka World is better because you have the handmade rifle, and The only downside to Nuka World is the armor and the weapons have like very weird limitations to upgrade them. Like the Hemi rifle makes perfect sense. You need Big Leagues, Rifleman, and Commando. Those are the three main ones, along with Gun Nut that you can use to upgrade your guns. But with the armor, you need like Grim Reaper Sprint, Lone Wanderer, Lockpick, Chemist, all these weird stuff that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Maybe I'm thinking of a power armor mod I use. Anyway, but that just shows you how dumb and weird it is. Cause no, I don't know who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to have like some crazy to almost impossible restrictions to some of these, because like whenever I did my Overboss character, he didn't use Grim Reaper Sprint, but whenever it came to upgrading the armor so that we can get better, I need a Grim Reaper Sprint. So there's no way I could get it. I would be wasting perk points trying to get it instead of making my character better with the stuff I have. So I can either weaken my character to get some like terrible or mod to my armor, or I can make my character powerful and then just have like this heavy ass armor. It makes no sense whatsoever. That's the only downside I would say to that. But I gotta say, I always side with the operators because I have a huge problem, and Mags is fine as fuck. Like I said, I have a problem. But again, I also do like the fact that like you can just go to the Commonwealth and brain fart. Sorry, or I had a stroke or something. I don't know. I have a staring problem, but with that, you can also enslave people, or you can just kill them off. And at first, the whole settlement thing was really confusing, but after a while, once you figure out the patterns and whatnot, you're like, it's so easy to understand now. It's almost like learning to tie your shoes. Once you've done it the first time, it becomes so easy after that. Even though I've only done the DLC once. So yeah, so now I'm gonna go over companions, and this is the part I'm gonna struggle with because I cannot recall all of the companions. So I'm just gonna go. I was gonna say go in numeric or alphabetical order, but I don't have the list with me. I mean, I could try my best. I'll just go whatever comes to my head. Preston Garvey, like I said before, annoying as fuck, but overall, I think his weapon could be better because he uses a 2-crank laser musket. I think he should use like a 5 or a 6 or maybe even a 4 because those are better and it does better damage. And that is one of the things that I find to be pretty good is that the laser musket is pretty different. Because a lot of people have like pipe pistols or 10 millimeters or shotguns or whatever, or laser weapons. But okay, it is a laser weapon. But with the only downside I see to laser musket, it's so slow to reload, and I think the dumbest thing ever is that you use just fusion cores or fusion cells, not fusion cores. I don't know where that came from. Because you crank it. It should be powered with the crank. And yes, it does weaken it, but you start off with the 2-crank laser musket. That's what's supposed to happen. Like, it shouldn't waste fusion. Like, you don't just load 1 fusion or 2 fusion cells in there and then you shoot. Because that defeats the purpose. You either use 1 and you crank it 6 times and use the power of 1 full fusion cell, or you just don't use fusion cells at all. That's the only problem I see that it should have been with that, is if it cranks, you don't need fusion cells. Or if it uses up the fusion, if we know how the fusion cells work, then it should be cranked. But I do like Press's perk. Whenever I do my Minimate character, I always try and get that perk, or whenever I was doing my Overblast character, I don't think I got the perk because I sided with the Minuteman first. Well, I ended with the Institute, but I wanted to build up settlements that I can get that true Raider experience. But I don't, so I could have used Precedent. I don't think I got his perk fully. I don't, I don't know, don't remember, doesn't matter. Moving on, Codsworth. Oh, I do want to mention ahead of time, I haven't used all of the companions to their full extent, so some of these I will say like, I haven't used them. I won't say who, but, well, at least not right now, but I thought about waiting until I used some of the companions, but I was like, I want to get this out now because once I have my review out there, I just want it over with because I don't know. I'll never use some of these companions ever at all. So Codsworth, pretty cool. He's one of the few people that adds like a nice commentary to it. Like whenever there's a battle, and he uses like British slang like tally ho or chalks away. Like shit like that is funny to me because you never expect a robot to say something like that. You expect a human to say that. But other than that, like Codsworth is actually pretty good. His perk is meh. He does get purified water, which to me is pretty helpful if I'm being a nice character and I see like a random encounter where someone's asking for water and I don't have purified water. I can talk to Codsworth, he can give me water, and then I can just go give that to that person. Give it to that person. I don't know why I add different expressions to my words, but we're gonna go with it. And on the opposite side of Codsworth, we have Curie. Like I mentioned before, Curie, is just a robot for like her first approval talk, and then after that she becomes a synth that is accessed through the railroad, or that's given to with the railroad. That's a difficult word for me to say with my slurring of R's. But I haven't really used her a whole lot as a synth. I heard she's actually pretty good with like Deimos health. With like Deimos health as a synth with compared to some of the other companions. And if that's true, I should start using her more. But I'm kind of stuck on I'm stuck with my choices of companions. So we're gonna move on to Piper. This is the biased part. So I'll try to stay unbiased. She's pretty good, I will say. She does add some funny commentary, like whenever you face off a Radroach, she asks you if you have a newspaper or something like that, or like if you go up against like bugs or something small, like again a Radroach, she's like, huh, I thought he was in actual danger. Her pistol is pretty good. It's actually pretty accurate. There have been a couple times where like I was waiting. I think I was using. I don't know. I think I was getting my AP to load up, and so that way I can use VATS. But and so I like back away from the character, so that way my AP will regen. But she managed to like kill him, or kill the raider. I think with like a headshot or something. So it was it was interesting to say the least. But I do get distracted with her. She is my main companion for my Minuteman character, even though I should use Preston, but I have reasons for that. Which kind of is something I kind of want to talk about, which I forgot to talk about, is Lover's Embrace. I kind of like it, but I don't. And the part I don't like about it is kind of more directed towards me because I have a huge problem. I'm not gonna say what because that's kind of personal, but so I always try and romance Piper first to not only get it out the way, but to also, because if I use Piper a lot, especially with my Minuteman character, I can easily sleep around. I can sleep near Piper, get Lover's Embrace, and turn in a quest, which is good for the Live and Love magazine that you get at the Hotel Rexford behind the bar in Good Neighbor, which adds +5. And plus, if you get Lover's Embrace, Eternal Quest, that's 20% more plus the additional intelligence that you get. So that's a lot more XP that you get. And then, so that's the thing I do like a lot about Lover's Embrace, but I guess I kind of took my hatred and kind of leaned it more towards love on that point. But what I don't like about it is the fact that I constantly use it. I use it way too much because I have a huge problem. Oh my god, this is like a drinking game. Take a shot every time I say I have a problem. Don't. It's gonna be boring. Um, but yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, Curie's perk is actually pretty good. Heals 100 health a day, and her weapon is pretty good. It's just a laser rifle. I've sorry if I veer off track. I just forget some stuff. Piper's perk is actually pretty good. But that's kind of dependent on your character. If you have a plus, if you have like over, I would say over 2 or 4 charisma, that is actually pretty good, because you can easily get like a suit or a dress and whatnot. I have make some great mentats or have black rim glasses, fashionable glasses, or whatever. Wear clothes or drink some stuff that increases charisma. Then you get 5% more experience per passive speech checks, as well as discovering locations. Some of my characters I use, in fact, I think all of my characters I use, except for my Minuteman character, doesn't benefit from that perk with the speech side, but discovering side, it's totally fine. But my Minuteman character is probably the only one that benefits from it because her charisma is actually pretty high. So yeah, so we're gonna go. I keep going like the opposites. So the opposite of Piper is Nick Valentine. Easily maybe top 3. Piper being number 1, if you could guess from it. But Nick is actually pretty cool. He is a synth, so that means he's a bit more personal with his backstory and whatnot, because he feels heartfelt about, or kind of sad about the fact that he was left out in the garbage. And like I mentioned with Far Harbor, you learn that he has a brother named Dima, but he doesn't know that until you access Dima's memories, and you learn that, or he learns that Dima is his brother. So you have a choice to either tell Nick like, yeah, you should treat him as a family. You would hate yourself if you did it, or you should be like, well, it has been a while. It would be a bit awkward. Just keep your distance. I've never done the keep your distance part because I feel like Nick deserves better than just, you know what, fuck him. He doesn't deserve that. No, we don't do that. So, but I'm sorry. So the only thing I don't like about him is his perk, because you lose 50%. You're locked out for 50% less of the time. Meaning, like, well, okay, the lockout duration time is 50% less, so you get locked out for like 5 seconds. But if you get the science bobblehead, you get an extra turn, which means you could easily back. But if you have 1 turn left, you can easily back out and go back in, or you could use him, even though he may not get it all the time. Plus, you get an extra chance, which doesn't add up with the science bobblehead. If you have the bobblehead, then his perk is borderline useless. Or unless you like really want it, because you gotta give that 1 extra try, then I'd say it's pretty useful. But other than that, I'd say the lockout is the only useful thing about it. So this is part where I start to freeze up here. So you have to dance. I think Dance is actually pretty good. He does have power armor, and from what I hear, I haven't tried this, if you give him any power armor pieces, they won't break at all. And I don't know, I've never tried it. But if that's true, then that is insane. You could easily take like X01 power armor with like the... do they use marks, or is it like models? Marks... A, B, C, D, E, F... A, B, C, D, E, F... like Mark 6? Sorry, I don't know my ABCs number of things. You can give him Mark 6 X01 power armor to like the best and make it the best you can, and then just give it to him, and then he'll die less than his regular Brotherhood of Steel power armor before Blind Betrayal, and then he can be a tank if you give him like a Gatling laser. Well, unless you have like infinite companion ammo mod, which I use. I'm doing like a modded playthrough, so I have that on there because I don't want to keep stock on my companion's ammo. So I'd say if you love power armor a lot and you like the Brotherhood of Steel, I'd say get Dance. I'd say use Dance because his perk is also pretty good. I think you do 15% more damage. I don't know. I haven't gotten this perk. This will be the first time I get it. But you do more damage to super mutants, synths, and ghouls. I think those are those the three? Yeah, those are the three that it affects. So you can be a tank with him if you both get like the Mark 6 X01 power armor. And come on, who doesn't want to feel like a tank and powerful? So this is where I start to get more and more. Oh, I'm not including dog meat. I don't use dog meat at all. I know a lot of people are like, you should use dog meat. No, I don't like dog meat. Well, okay, I don't hate him, but I think he's adorable, and I think he's like better than like people like Rex or dog meat in Fallout 3. But to be honest, I like ranged enemies because I barely use melee weapons, but whenever I do, I ride solo. So I don't want to risk hurting him, so that's the only problem that comes up. And plus, I like color commentary, and just hearing barking all the fucking time, it's gonna be terrible. So Kate is the next one. Kate is pretty difficult for me because again, I like being nice. So the only way I can see being you can't be nice and have Kate as a companion because her backstory is fucking horrible, and not like in a sense of like that was a bad backstory. Like emotionally, it's pretty horrible. Again, I make it sound like I hate how they did the backstory. Now, not at all. But her gun is pretty bad. It's a sawed-off shotgun, but if you give her like a Gauss rifle or a minigun, pretty good. She is really good with it. And I know that because as I was doing my Brotherhood of Steel character, I took her with me to defeat the Institute, and she took off, and she was awesome. Also, give your companions grenades. Those are the best part ever. Just make sure you have the influence or inspirational perk, because I think the second or third rank of it, because that is gonna suck for you. I have been crippled by Kate's plasma grenades so many times, it's not even funny. I've wasted stim packs because I was so stupid enough to jump in there. I once died to Piper's plasma grenade because she threw it near a car. Who throws a grenade near a car? It's dumb. Anyway, oh, and I'm not going to be talking about the stuff that people like Piper, McCready, although I did talk about Codsworth. Yeah, Piper gives you candy. It's nothing too bad, but if you want to get Sheffield at your settlement and you don't have Nuka-Cola, either pray that Vadim has it or that Piper gives you Nuka-Cola, because other than that, you're going to have to wait a bit longer than you want. Again, sorry for backtracking. I'm going off script. But with Kate, she's very... I'm terrible with words. She's very aggressive, in the sense of like you want to trade stuff with her. She's like, what can I take? What can I hold for you? She expects me to make her hold something. Anything I trade with her, it's just for her to have. Like, I don't make her hold like all my junk, because I don't need. If I need to carry that much junk up to, if I carry that much junk up to where I'm desperate to have my companions carry them, then I'll just lose some. But she's very. I don't like her, and she's one of the few companions I barely use. But whenever I do, I take advantage of the affinities, or I guess her perk is pretty good. I don't know. The whole thing's bugged, and I barely use it, so I have no clue what it does. Speaking of, but with useful perks, we move on to McCready. McCready was pretty good in Fallout 3. Again, I barely play the game, but whenever I do, I really enjoy McCready. He's like what is he, 13 in the game? He's like a 13-year-old kid who's like, fuck you, and all that stuff. It's so ridiculous. But in Fallout 4, he's much better at that. Like, he's trying to not curse and whatnot. And his perk is actually pretty good if you use a sniper character, which I did use for a time, but then I found some other. I decided to do like a stealth melee build. So McCready's pretty much useless at that point. And he does give you ammunition, which I started using McCready because I didn't realize that like ammunition is very scarce without the Scrounger or the Fortune Finder, because you can use the caps to spend the money. Or use the caps to spend money. You can use the caps to get ammunition. So I try to get. I used McCready for ammunition, but he wouldn't give the ones I used, which I think was just mostly like 10mm pistol and an assault rifle. He would give me like 38s or 10mm, which was pretty. I don't know. It's been like almost, well, not even a year, a couple months since I started using that. So I just mostly use him for the perk, and then I just let him go. I don't romance him either because he was married. That's rude. Although granted you're married, but that's different. Because you can choose to. But I don't know. McCready's kind of like in the middle with me. His perk is useful, and he does do evil stuff, but he doesn't mind being nice as much as Kate, because there are some nice things you can do. Too. Well, okay, I guess the only nice thing Kate enjoys is saying like, you promise to help Glory, or help the railroad, or say that or saying she's not gonna die or whatnot. Spoilers again. I keep forgetting spoilers. I should start at the beginning of this, say spoiler alert. No, whatever. Fucking deal with it. But aside from that, McCready is a lot more kind-hearted. Like, he appreciates helping kids and being nice to friendly ghouls. But other than that, nothing really too special about him. Deacon, another really good, useful perk character, especially if you do stealth a lot. I like Deacon. His perk is really good because he's stealth based. You get an additional sneak attack damage, or sneak damage boost, and stealth boys last longer, which, if you guys play the game, you can know that stealth boys last 5 to 10 seconds. But with this, it lasts, I think, 40% longer, or something like that. So I think, I don't know how long that is. I'm terrible at math. And he's actually pretty good. He is pretty funny. The only minor thing that bothers me about him is the fact that he's constantly changing clothes. There have been a couple of times I have seen him without clothes, because he was trying to switch clothes. I don't know why, but it's fucking ridiculous. But if you guys like funny commentary, I would say maybe Codsworth, Piper, or Deacon is one that's pretty funny. So again, you'll have to forgive me. Strong is one of those I barely use. I used him at one point, but I messed up my character. I gave my minimum character the cannibal perk, just so I can get likes, but then I barely, I couldn't get, because I didn't know that, like, you had to wait 2 hours before you get a like or whatnot, or like you get a like bonus. So I'm just eating people after another, thinking he'll like it. No, he liked the one person I ate, and then the rest was just fine. He was like, eh, he's just doing what he's doing, but this is gonna sound bad. Oh my god. But I do understand where people are coming from when they say Strong is annoying because the fact that he dislikes everything. I tried lockpicking, he disliked that. Tried hacking your terminal, he disliked that. I know. I had him at one point, I didn't use him. I put him in a settlement where I constantly used power armor, and it said he disliked that, which was so funny. So he's one of those few characters I don't use at all. I tried, and I don't know. He's not favorable of mine. Another unfavorable one, X688. He's bland as fuck. Like, I like using this example because it kind of expresses and it kind of shows people who don't understand. He's very emotionless. Like, he reminds me of like my math teacher I had senior year. Like, most of the time when people are excited, they're like, oh my god, I got a dog today. I'm so excited. But with him, it's like, I got a dog today. I'm excited. Like, no, you're not. You're bland as fuck, and you're not excited. You're bored. You're bored out of your mind. Even when he's in combat, he's like, this is gonna be fun. This is a big mistake on your half. He is gone. Like, no, if you're excited, you're a courser. You should be excited to go into combat. If you are not excited to be in combat, you need help. I'm sorry. You need help. But he does give fusion cells. So that is actually pretty good. Oh, Strong gives meats. I don't know if... I think it's raw meats. So... yeah. Next one is a companion I didn't use at all. I haven't been into combat with him. I haven't talked with him. Well, okay, I've talked with him because I did complete a quest. But the second I got him, I traded him to someone else. Hancock. He's from this video I saw where he talked about like terrible companions. It was like Madry Bread. I think that's how you pronounce it. He talked about like he rated characters from like worst to best, and he rated Hancock as the worst because of the sawed-off shotgun. And there isn't really much anything going for him. He will occasionally give you chems, but I think the best part is nothing. There's nothing redeemable about him. Whenever I got him as a companion, I switched him for someone I think I was working with Kate at the time. Or maybe Piper. I don't know. I was working with someone else besides Hancock. Whenever he would walk past me, he'd be like, so, we ready to go? No. I hate companions who do that. Curie, Hancock, and Ada from the Automatron DLC are, from my knowledge, the only 3 companions who ask you if it's ready to go without you acknowledging them. Like a lot of times with like Nick, Piper, Preston, Cosworth, you ask them like, hey, would you like to come with? Or you walk up to them, they're like, and you're like, hey, they're like, do you want me to come with you? And you say yes. But with them, they just immediately ask, assuming that you would say yes. So that is why I try and keep Curie and Hancock away, because they do that shit, and it is so annoying, and I hate saying no. It's mostly because of the fact that I didn't know if like Codsworth had a speech check ready or like an approval talk, because I thought every companion had 4, but I guess some of them have 2, and I think Codsworth is one of them. And so like I would constantly get like Codsworth love that. So many times I tried to talk to him, and he's like, can I come with you? And I said no. He's like, alright then. Like, he's so aggressive with it. Like, that's why I try and That's why whenever I go with a companion, whenever I try and ask a companion, I go straight. I need to know 100% sure if that's who I want, because I don't want to say no. And that's why, anyway, going back, I don't like Hancock. His gun is terrible. But again, you could always give him like a combat shotgun, especially if you don't use a shotgun, and you could just take the shotgun shells that you get. Instead of selling them, you can give them to Hancock or Kate or whoever you give the shotgun to. So, yeah, I would say he has nothing going for him. So you have to excuse me while I try and think of who else. I think I got all of them. I think I got all of the vanilla ones. You have to give me a moment. Strong. Yeah, I think I got them all. And if I forget some, whatever. So I'm gonna go backwards this time with the DLCs, because like I said before, Automatron, Far Harbor, and Nuka World are first. I'm gonna go backwards. Porta Gage, Nuka World. I don't know what it is with him. He doesn't like chems or alcohol. Which sucks, because that's what you expect from him. I haven't gotten his perk yet, but from what I hear, it's really good. Oh. I've got a couple of companion perks. Strong's Berserker perk, fine. Isodoped, don't know what that does, but I think it's fucking, now that I remember, I think it's fucking stupid, because you're wasting health on radiation, and I think X688 Shield Harmonics is pretty good. Other than that, let's move on. Porta Gage's perk, which I think is Lessons in Blood, where you get 5% more XP per kill. Which, sorry, it seems pretty good. I haven't gotten it because Porta Gage is so hard to max affinity with, because I like to stick within Nuka World, because again, I have a problem with being nice, and he doesn't like nice remarks, and most of the stuff is in the Commonwealth, and that's my weakness. Nuka World, totally fine. I can be an asshole. Most of them are slaves or robots, or or raider bosses, but they expect it, or that's just what they are. They're assholes. But going outside with people like Arturo or Mo Cronin, or some people in Good Neighbor, Diamond City, Bunker Hill, all that, or even some people who deserve the help, you have to be mean to them, and that's the problem that comes up. I don't like being mean to nice people. I like being mean to mean people. Makes sense. But other than that, I think from what I hear, Gage's armor and gun is like the best in the game. That's not power armor, or I think that's not heavy, because that means the Marine combat armor is out. But so that means he also won't change guns, and I think it's pretty good, because I won't have to worry about like going through his inventory, taking some stuff out, because I want him to use his main gun, or I want him to use the gun I gave him, which I don't use, because the handmade rifle is like the best gun ever. So I would say if you enjoy being an asshole, then use Porta Gage. Other than that, just don't use him. Next is Old Longfellow. Again, another character I haven't used at all. I might have used him at some point, or maybe I don't know. I might have used him at one point. I don't remember. But from what I know, his perk is pretty good. You do more damage, and it's either you do more damage to sea creatures, or you take less damage to sea creatures. But judging by what I remember by the perk animation, you do more damage to sea creatures. So anglers, gulpers, fog crawlers, and mirelurks, and kings, queens, etc. And he does have a pretty nice weapon, the lever action rifle. I think it's like one of the best. I was gonna say like one of the best sniper rifles, or that one of the best weapons that could be turned into a sniper rifle. But then I remember that the handmade rifle can do the same. And then last we have Ada. I'm not gonna do the automatron companions because you can create those whenever. And besides, you can live without those automatrons. So Ada, like I mentioned before, Ada's one of those where, like, she just instantly assumes that you want to travel with her, even if you don't want to at the moment. So she's pretty annoying on that part, but I do like the fact that she's fully customizable. Kind of like Codsworth and Robo Curie or the Miss Nanny Curie. But like if you want color commentary from a robot, just use Codsworth. Whenever you first meet her, she is slow because she has the Protectron legs, but if you give her a Saltron legs, she's much better, and that's what I always do. I always give her a Saltron legs, but I would say she has nothing going for her. If you ask me, terrible at all the fucking time. So now that's all, but I do want to talk about some stuff I like. What I like about Fallout 4, aside from New Vegas and vice versa. So I do like the weapon modifications. You aren't limited to just what they give you. Like in New Vegas, you're limited to the lasers with the 10mm pistol. You're limited to the laser sights and I think an extended mag. I don't know about a suppressor, but that's it. Those are the only things you're limited to. Or if you have a Gatling laser, you're limited to a frame. I don't remember. I barely use mods. Or what's it? Or like a sniper rifle. You have the carbon fiber frame, and you have the suppressor. And I think those are the two that you're limited on. But with Fallout 4, you have extra frames. You can do more damage. You have extra receivers. You can increase accuracy or how much ammunition you hold. But I would say that this is more of a downside, but it kind of makes sense. When you use resources that you could use for settlements or clothing or to modify armor. So that's the best part about that. I will say the companions are a bit good. Probably not as good as people like Veronica or Boone, but there is more to it, I think. And they don't. That's it. I'm sorry. I keep having brain farts. And armor is the same way. There is more armor, varieties. Like you can wear like a metal chest piece and combat armor legs and leather arms, and all that. I don't know why you would want that. That looks ugly as fuck. But if you want that, you can. But in Fallout New Vegas, you have leather armor, metal armor, combat armor, and that's it. So that's pretty good. You can change your under armor instead of just having one thing. And the power armor is probably the best because it feels like power armor as opposed to like a t-shirt. Like you're wearing some actual metal, it's powerful than some armors. But with the power armor in Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3, it just feels like regular armor, and that's dumb. And like I said, Lover's Embrace, I do like it as a whole. I do feel like that's what Fallout 4 has over New Vegas is the fact that you can sleep with companions. Most of them, I can understand why it can't be all of them. And then once you have the Lover's Embrace perk, you can easily turn requests. But with New Vegas, you're just stuck with what you get. Which I don't get it, but that's just how it is. I don't have a problem. It's totally fine. I can't really think of anything else that New Vegas that makes Fallout 4 better than New Vegas. So, again, I've been backtracking. I can just do that. Um, so New Vegas. First things first. Companions don't judge you. You never see like Veronica hated that, Boone hated that, Arcade Gannon hated that. There are some stuff they hate. Don't get me wrong. Like if you side with the Legion, Arcade, and Boone would hate that. If you destroyed the Brothers Steel, Veronica would hate that. Even if you make her side with the followers. Um, but in Fallout 4, companions hate a lot of stuff. Like I can't be an asshole with Nick or Piper as my companion, or I can't help other people with Porter Gage as my companion. And that's the problem that comes up is if I want the perk and I have to roleplay, I have to match their needs. So like if I'm doing my Minuteman character and I want Porter Gage's perk, I then have to break the rules and become an asshole while wearing the general's uniform, which is something that doesn't happen. And yes, I do understand that if you do have it'd be best to get President's perk if you do side with the Minutemen. Even though you can just destroy them anyway. So I can easily roleplay perfectly fine because it's not like if I say some asshole thing to some nice person, it's not like I'm gonna leave and then Veronica or Boone be like, you really need to like lay off the asshole. Like you need to be more calm with people. So that's what I like. I can't really think of anything else. I'm not saying I'm not saying Fallout 4 is better than New Vegas, but there's a lot more good stuff I like than negative stuff. Well, there's more positives with Fallout 4 than New Vegas because it kind of adds more to it. I can't really think of it. I mean, the only thing I can think of is the fact that there are more factions to deal with. Like, you're stuck with, like, the only, I think, major factions is just, in Fallout 4, is just the Institute, Brotherhood of Steel, Minuteman Railroad, and then you have, like, a few of the minor factions, but that's something like Raider Gangs, the Nuka World, or the Children of Adam. But with Fallout New Vegas, you have, like, you have the four major ones, House, the S-Man, Legion, and NCR, but then you have like the Enclave, the Great Khans, the Boomers, which fuck the Boomers, and all that. And so I'm not saying there's more, but they're better than the people you have in Fallout 4, which I think is a bit better. And I think some of the weapon choices are actually pretty good also. You get the service rifle, you get the assault carbine, you even get the anti-material rifle, which you don't get if you don't have the Creation Club. I got it for free. I don't know how. The first day I checked my Creation Club, and I got it for free. I was like, well, hey, we're getting somewhere. So, yeah, so this was my Fallout 4 review. If you guys think I missed anything, or if you just want to have a discussion about Fallout 4, let me leave it in the comments. If there's anything I missed, I'll make sure to talk about it. I guarantee you, I forgot some companions. Or maybe there's some good things that I like about New Vegas than Fallout 4, or maybe there's some more stuff that I like about Fallout 4 as opposed to New Vegas. So if I had to rank these of the four New Vegases, of the four Fallout games I have, because I have 76, 3, New Vegas, and 4, I would say this is ranked number 2. Because I haven't been playing this as much as New Vegas. And besides, I feel like people are going to hate me if I just rank Fallout 4 better than New Vegas, even though it is my opinion, and people should respect my opinion. Do I hate it? No, I don't hate it at all. Do I understand why people hate it? I don't know. I haven't seen videos about why people hate it. Hold on, it says, it said Obsidian. But the only limitations I can see that I hate about Fallout 4 is the fact that I use PS4, and the mod limitations on that fucking suck. Because I see all of these like weapon mods, and I'm like, oh, I want those, but all you can get is like a fucking laser pistol that shoots lightning, which isn't bad, but I'd rather have a Scar H and a Deagle on M19 than a fucking lightning gun. So that's that's the only negative thing I can think of. That's on its own makes Fallout 4 worse than New Vegas, just on its own as compared to New Vegas. But there are some stuff that New Vegas on its own sucks at, like quest with bugs or some shit. Although there have been a couple times doing my stealth melee character that I have fallen out of the map. Twice. I was once in Museum of Freedom and I forgot the other one. Oh, I think maybe it wasn't my assassin. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this review. Again, let me know if I missed anything. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Lose a Maniac out.